They're saying the Wyatts have created cinema with their latest promo package, kidnapping The Miz. The New Day celebrate their 10-year anniversary, or will it be a celebration? And last but not least, Randy Orton gets Randy Orton. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dangerous Jobbers podcast. Here we
People have been asking me, why, Eddie, why?
I'm better than you.
My eyes are red. I was in the back smoking a joint with Van
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm your boy, Stevie Jobber.
I'm your boy, Dangerous Duke.
And welcome back to the Dangerous Jobbers podcast, putting wrestling over one podcast at a time.
Woo, woo, woo.
And there was too many events going on in WWE this week to really fill this pod, the main pod at least, with anything else but this news. I'll be perfectly honest with you. They had a big week, and that's not even getting to NXT at the 2300 on Wednesday directly against AEW, which we will do separately from this. We will get to it, but it will be separate from this. We just had big thing after big thing after big thing. So I actually want to start with the first piece of new news that I have, which is the wrestler of the pod. It's been a while, but I finally found a wrestler of the pod. I've been meaning to make sure we only do these when we really have somebody now to kind of get back to the root of what it's supposed to be. And this week, it will be Philly's finest, Marcus Mathers. I have seen Marcus Mathers live. And the reason he's wrestler of the pod is because in the new WWE ID program that has just been launched for the Indies, he has been officially signed on to the WWE ID program. And I've witnessed him live in a casino, front row, with him swinging a kendo stick to hit a guy with a trash can over him in the seat that I was sitting in, and being inches from the kendo stick that he ended up hitting him with, which is still somewhere on YouTube. If I find it and you're watching this on YouTube, maybe I'll put the link in there just so you know I'm not kidding. If you're wondering who is some of these guys that they're picking up, you can witness that hardcore match live or taped, but I was there live and see what I mean. This guy is the real deal.
It's like we were there.
I was, yeah. So you can know what I felt in my I'll be in the Contra jacket that I usually wear. And you can see how good this guy is if I find that link. But wrestler of the pod, Philly's own, Philly's finest, Marcus Mathers. If you happen to just want to look him up on YouTube, he's been on quite a few things. He might have even been featured on MLW once. But yeah, go check him out. That is our wrestler of the pod, the first wrestler of the pod for a while. I can't promise there'll be one next week, but that's who we got today.
Duly deserved.
First piece of real big news. Let's talk about Randy Orton.
Oof.
Randy Orton taking a pile driver that was sold like a pile driver from Kevin Owens, the bringer of devastating moves. This is the Kevin Owens we know. This is pile drive you until I take your title. No pinfall, Kevin Owens. This is side of the apron power bomb, put you out for a couple months, Kevin Owens. This is beat John Cena as NXT champion, Kevin Owens. He came out on site with Randy Orton and ends up pile driving him, to which Randy sold a terrible neck injury. Or if you want to believe in kayfabe, suffered a serious neck injury
Mm-hmm.
and had to be stretchered out of the arena.
It's still real.
It's still real to you, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still real to us too. I don't know. I don't want to offend you.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Randy really sold it. What are your thoughts? This was kind of ironic to me to see Randy Orton be Randy Orton. It was like watching the punt kick, but with a pile driver. I like the effect. It was a poetic nature for me.
Yeah, it was very good. It was the first power driver. They had mentioned the first power driver that we've seen on WWE since CM Punk and John Cena,
Mm.
which is always a nice nugget to throw in there. Punk's looked a little more devastating, but Kevin was protecting him, to be real. But in kayfabe, it was a serious injury.
Yeah, but that is my only tidbit. I
Yeah,
will let you continue, but that was my only tidbit. Is that, man? You really, they should have picked a different angle, because
yeah,
you can, as a wrestling fan, I know how protected that actual stunner was. So like, I mean, that actual power driver was. So I mean, he kept it pretty safe.
yeah. But I mean, if anybody's gonna be allowed to get a pile driver off in this era, it's gonna be people like Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. So I'm not complaining about how the move looked. I'm just glad to see it happen. And then also with them bringing this power driver back and bringing moves back, if we're gonna bring moves back that are not really safe or allowed or PG, if you want to call them, I just hope this only means we can get a punt kick somewhere thrown in the mix. That would be my only hope in this whole endeavor. But they're letting Kevin be Kevin, so I like it.
Mm.
I'm really appreciating the fact that they're gonna let Kevin go back to them killer roots. Maybe this is the last run we're getting with Kevin, so why not just send him out on the only way we know how to, just make him who he was when he got here in the first place.
To fantasy book real quick with you, I would
Mm-hmm.
love if Randy's gonna be out. Like, have Kevin go on this run, maybe up until Netflix day one, or the Royal Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
and have Kevin. Well, maybe that would be too.
Nope, we're fantasy
No, no,
booking,
no, no,
so
no, 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 no. Have Randy come back in at the Rumble to take Kevin out,
mm-hmm.
and have them have a blood feud match at Mania that ends with Randy punt kicking Kevin. Have it be like he comes back at the Rumble, and then in that short time between the Rumble and Mania,
Mm-hmm.
they're on site, they're war of words, they're video packages, they're not allowed near each other, that whole dynamic. But have every time they do get into a fight, Randy go for that punt kick and miss just a little bit every time
Mm-hmm.
until Mania. And because we all know that's going to be the finish.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to want to see that punt kick. But that's just me fantasy booking. I like the way they did it. I don't have any complaints. I thought it was great that we can have big moves feel like it made me a little bit mad at AEW. It makes it, because it makes the whole point of like the moves that are supposed to be big moves, because you don't just go all out all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh man, when was the last time a power driver felt like devastating?
When was the last time a super kick felt devastating?
Like, the only super kick party I even really approve of nowadays is just the Usos. Because when
Yeah.
they get rolling, it's like, this is what they do. Like, they were super
Mm-hmm.
kick party before super kick party.
Yep.
It really feel like a moment when they get going. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like an appropriate version of hulking up. It's like they took it back. like with every super kick, they just build up steam. But no, I like everything they did here. Speaking of blood feuds, uh, brothers in arms, brothers against each other,
Mm-hmm.
loyalty, trust broken. I'm talking about the New Day. I'm talking about Xavier Woods Kofi Kingston, 10-year anniversary. Now, I've seen the interviews, they're arguing backstage, they cannot get on the same page. And now they're celebrating their 10th anniversary and they didn't even talk to X. And Kofi says one of the words. Kofi says to Aldis, I don't know why X would have a problem with that. Sounds great. You know, I don't see why not. Why would he care that we're being celebrated? I don't have to run it by him. And it felt like watching somebody say, I'll be back in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not what you say. I know what comes next.
Yeah.
I've seen this before.
This ain't our first rodeo.
It's inevitable, right?
Yeah, it's an inevitable situation. It's like you almost know what's gonna happen. But then again, because you almost know what's gonna happen in a Triple H turn of events, it would be a Triple H thing to not do what's supposed to happen. And I'll tell you, because everyone says that, well, the logical thing and what everything's pointing towards is Woods is turning heel.
Mm-hmm.
And I say nay. It may not be Woods turning heel, or it may not be Woods turning heel alone. In the sense of, I think they're going to try to swindle us. And maybe this is me just holding out a little bit of hope. A returning Big E joins the celebration of the 10-year anniversary, only to be the one to turn heel himself. That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe Woods turns heel and Big E joins him turning heel. And then Kofi's just left as the odd man out. No more New Day, no nothing. Woods is just heel with a Big E who really can't wrestle, so we're going to just use him as a manager for his homie Woods. And Woods has a former world champion as his manager, a heel Big E bodyguard. Or like an underboss.
I like it. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know which one I like more. Because if E comes back and turns on him, first off, E coming back alone is like, right?
Mm-hmm.
E coming back and turning on them would be like when Triple H got DX back together just to pile drive pedigree Shawn Michaels. It'd be like that'd be a moment. That'd be a serious moment. And Big E is a heel. I can't even tell you how excited I would be.
Knowing what he knows now.
I cannot even tell you. I cannot even tell you.
Because if you look at the era we're in right now, there's not many heels.
Seth Rollins said it himself, man.
Yeah, a lot of people are baby faces, man. I think Dom is the biggest heel right now in the company.
Love Dom.
And not to say that's a bad thing, but
love Dom.
Throwing all the pressure on this 20-something-year-old kid to be the biggest heel.
That's true.
Triple H wasn't the biggest heel when he was in his 20s.
No, he wasn't. No.
You need somebody with a little bit of seasoning on him, and
it takes a while.
And E has been that guy. So I could see E being the one.
That would be amazing. But we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. Me personally, I think I like the idea of just Woods being taken seriously. I saw on the internet the other day, and many wrestling people might know about the Twitter beef between Xavier Woods and Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching. I was on Twitter watching. Xavier show all the different, talents that he has: pro wrestling, video gaming, cosplay, whatever. And Will Ospreay goes, oh no, it's a Kenny Omega. I'm thinking of Kenny Omega, not Will Ospreay. Sorry, excuse me. Kenny Omega says, I'm still waiting for you to try the first one, that being pro wrestling. And I say to myself, this is exactly why he has to beat down Kofi. It is people like you on the internet that think y'all can talk crazy to him like this.
I mean,
this is the reason he has to destroy Kofi Kingston on Monday.
I mean,
because
that's
of
true.
People like you.
That is very true. I mean, we're waiting for Woods to be that guy and do his thing, just like we're waiting for Kenny to come back. They both need to try. They both got to try that wrestling thing again.
He did have
no
a
disrespect,
nice
Kenny.
Back. He did have a nice clap back. He said, "You still out from that little tummy ache?"
Yeah,
like, oh.
Yeah. No disrespect, Kenny. Hope your stomach feels better.
Oh man! But moving from some tag team news to some more tag team news, let's talk about how the Street Profits are going to get a shot at gold against the Motor City Machine Guns. Pronounced on Friday, for this upcoming Friday, the Street Profits get very serious about becoming relevant again. They break mid-promo. After the news is broken, they pretty much break character, very much like the New Day, who we were just talking about, when they like really buckle down and give it to you and lock in and stop being funny. And they said, I think Tez said, was it Tez or Dawkins? I believe
I think it was Tez.
Dawkins. Was it okay? All right. Let's say it was Tez. Says, let's see what happens when y'all get real pressure. They do the serious walk away, but that's not the part that hits me. If you go back into the YouTubes, because I don't think it was on TV, I think it was on the YouTubes, they catch a backstage interview with B-Fab and the Profits. And it is an all business promo. Previously, before this championship match was announced, a little tidbit that I still got to put out, where we talked about Tez saying his feelings about how booking was going for the Profits and being a little unsatisfied. And the same thing we had discussed in that tidbit I still got to put out, I think fueled every bit of this backstage promo. He talked about people coming in and changing things, having identity issues, having these different ups and downs, people coming in, people leaving us trying to figure out where we are, B-Fab trying to figure out who she is, us still trying to figure out who we are today, not in the conversation, being disrespected, like all types of it. Tez had a really, 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 like, he got off. Like he sounded like it reminded me of Ricky Starks when he really got going. He delivered one of those real career defining promos. Like, it is championships or bust. That was the line. Championships or bust. Dawkins ain't had nothing to say. Championships or bust.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that means. What does that mean? Because Tez made every single point he had on Twitter the same points he had in that promo. They really blended the lines. So I'm like, does that mean the internet wins and they making Tez go singles? Like, this is it for us? Like, are they that understanding that, like, if we don't win, this is over? Or like what's happening right now? Or is this is this the Usos turn we was looking for? I'm not really sure what it means.
I'm thinking
if it means they're winning. but I want them to win. I will say that. Give me your thoughts.
I'm thinking it could mean the Uso turn. Because I think no matter
Mm.
what, I don't think they're gonna split them. I feel like it's too early. The tag team division is so hot right now that you almost kind of need the Profits. You kind of need them there because they're already planting the seeds for a tag team breakup on SmackDown in the form of DIY. And DIY, when they split, that's gonna be gold. That's gonna be far more gold than a Street Profits split.
I
So
mean,
I need the Profits to stay together.
I'm absolutely with you on that. I double down on your freaking point because I ain't gonna hold you. I I might be biased. But when Tommaso Ciampa is angry, oh boy, it gives me that special feeling.
When Johnny Gargano can be Johnny Wrestling, that's a beautiful thing to watch.
So seeing Ciampa lock back into that, because I'll be honest with you, that's the thing about DIY has always been constant. This is remained, and I don't know if this is Triple H booking at its finest, but the dynamic between DIY has always been Johnny's not really as good as Tommaso is, but Tommaso really loves this dude, so he just be carrying him. Like I don't know if that's offensive if you watched them on the Indies, but if you've watched them in WWE, the whole arc between them has kind of been we're really good together. But when it comes down to who's better between the two of us, it's kind of always been Tommaso. And it shows in their tag matches because Tommaso put him away. Johnny take a lot of damage. So that plays out this past week when Tommaso wins the match on his own.
Basically a handicap match.
Just didn't tag him in. Was like
No.
business needs to get done. And if
I'm
I'm
gonna do it.
Tommaso Ciampa and I know how this works, you ain't going to do nothing but get in here and take a bunch of damage.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna have to pull us back from. Let me just put him away like I know how to do, and let's just go home. Like I'm done playing games.
Mm-hmm.
And
We don't get paid by the hour.
that to me is like the breakup now is inevitable, but I'll be honest with you, they're much more money as enemies than they are friends. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
They're just better enemies.
Yes.
And I just have no other way to really explain it. But I think that is it for the tag division for now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Wyatt footage real quick. Did you see the footage that came out after they kidnapped the Miz?
I did.
We have a reason, and I gotta tell you, I knew from the jump, like real rap, like when they was doing all that stuff before they even tried to play like they was after Final Testament. The
Mm-hmm.
moment they first started the like, there you are, I was like, oh, they're after the Miz. And I was confused when people said, oh, it's gonna be the Wyatts versus Final Testament. I was like,
Nah.
maybe. I mean, I guess you could see it that way, but I think they going after the Miz.
Yeah, they really had no beef with Final Testament.
It ain't about you. It ain't about you.
Yeah, Cross didn't do anything to anybody in the
You
Wyatt.
got family. He take care of his. You know, he got a motive. He's on a mission. He got a tight unit. And he ain't doing nothing wrong.
He's just there now because of what do you call it? Not a friendly fire, but a misfire, if you will.
Mm-hmm. He just got wrapped up in things.
Yeah.
But the footage was so good. So good. So perfect. I mean, I'll give you my highlights and then I'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Highlight for me definitely him, the Joker style footage. Still love that. Highlight for me, Miz finding out that they were after him the whole time. Because the look on his face, priceless. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a Miz movie, but this was great acting. This was cinema what he was putting together here. I
Mm-hmm.
think final highlight, just the fact that they kept using Dexter Loomis because he already had a thing for kidnapping the Miz.
Yeah.
So it just was like the double entendre is perfect.
Yeah. I mean, you figure you got that, and then you got the B team footage too. The Miz Taraj. Just nice little nuggets everywhere. He just when you think, man, this is only for Bo. Like, no, this ain't just for Bo. Dexter want to get his lick back too.
We all been played.
Mm-hmm. I'm very eager to see how this goes and where this goes because Cross is going to be lurking in the background trying to get his lick back, and then maybe his way of getting his lick back is saving Miz because he still got to avenge Paul Ellering.
That's true.
He's still got to avenge Paul Ellering, and maybe the way of avenging Paul is saving Miz.
I could see that. I could see that. But
But
because he did take the whole bullet for him. He did take a whole
mm-hmm.
bullet for him. Oh man. But either way, this is gonna end fantastically. It was so oh man. I loved every bit of it. It was pure cinema. It was horror and it was like Batman mixed with Saw. It was perfect.
I tell
Because
you
he
one
was
thing.
he was the Joker, and then my man came out at the end like the pig from Saw when he just snatched dudes up. Perfect.
I can't wait until the Wyatts start going after people with gold because that shit's really gonna start getting good.
I can't wait. I can't wait until they because this is the thing. There's already so many broken units because Triple H has built up factions. So at any time, factions could be fracturing, and there could be one major problem, and all that has to happen is there you are to pop up, and you're like, oh my god, we about to get a banger.
Judgment Day, man. Finn been pissing off a lot of people. Better
I'm
better better clutch them tag titles.
even more than that. We fantasy booking right now, but I'll wrap it up on this. Imagine the day when the trades happen, and I feel like they could go a couple weeks without addressing it, but some trades happen from Raw to SmackDown, and in the middle of a Bloodline segment, there you are. It's like, oh shit, the Wyatt's coming after the Bloodline. It's about to be on. It's about to be, especially if it's Roman's bloodline.
Yeah,
because they got so much chemistry already. It's just gonna be a banger. So I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever they do from this. But I know this is gonna be the first really good one.
there's
Really,
gonna
really
be
good one.
there's gonna be some good ones.
So moving on from that, it's time to talk about the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
And we could talk about the whole Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jackson, Naomi thing. We talk about Live and where they're going with that, and Sky. I want to talk about the women getting the U.S. Championship.
Yes.
SmackDown is getting the women's U.S. Championship. The women are getting a mid-card championship.
About damn
I
time.
I love it, man. I love every bit of it. It is about time. They have been developing from NXT for the second time a more legitimate women's division.
Yeah.
Thus boiling up into the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're firing on all cylinders. Everyone's getting good time. The women are main eventing more across all shows. So it just felt like the right time. And we know how they build their champions. So there's always gonna feel like there's more women there that's like, man, if there was just another thing for them to have that's not this,
Mm-hmm.
they could have that. I just know they're just not there enough to get the world championship yet.
Mm-hmm.
This is perfect, man. We've been needing this.
Yeah, I like it. I think it lends itself, and it's gonna do more good than it will harm. Plus, you know, with the stacked women that we have right now between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, if they ever felt the need or got that itch to go back and do another all women's pay-per-view, having
Is
a
that what this
women's
is building to?
look, I don't know.
Another evolution?
I don't know, but I'm just saying if they ever got that itch to want to do it again and try to fix it, because it's not that it was terrible the first time, it just felt like it was missing something. If they ever got that itch to do it again, adding a women's mid-card title would not be a terrible way to go, and having that would again do more good than harm.
Dude, I could really see that being much more of a possibility now.
Yeah.
Especially with them working with indie promotions.
Mm-hmm.
You have some women from GCW, some women from TNA, some of the women that Sean has got from all across the world already. Just, you know what I mean? They could really put together a crazy card for a women's pay-per-view.
You really could.
They could do it. But yeah, I love the possibility. I'm sure we're gonna talk about who we think could be women's champion on a different pod, but
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. How long do you think it's gonna be before they let the women's intercontinental championship come out?
I think we're gonna have to wait a little bit. I would say since we're just now getting the US, I wouldn't see it coming out until like maybe the next draft. So that would be like what, after Mania would be when the draft happens.
I would think first thing after Mania. I feel like that's
So
where they did it last time.
yeah, so probably like the first 2 weeks after WrestleMania, then that's probably when they'll do it. They'll probably have the draft. The draft will take place, and then a week after the draft takes place, Adam Pearce says like, we drafted these women. These are the women we want to have, blah, blah, blah. To show our appreciation and our faith we have in you, we have decided to create this title.
That'd be fire.
And that would be where we get it.
And they usually have like King of the Ring somewhere before, somewhere after Mania, right?
Yeah, I would
Queen
say
of the Ring. Maybe they could have whoever wins win a shot at the mid card title at SummerSlam instead.
I want to say it's usually May or June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe they could have it where they could put that up as, you know, what you fight for at SummerSlam if you win King or Queen of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Depending. But I like where it could go. Yeah. And we'll talk about all the names of the women that probably deserve a shot at it or are probably going to get to hold it on a different platform. But yeah, that's all there is to say to that. I think the final big point I want to get to, even though there's much more things, is the Bloodline. We got to talk about the Bloodline. We got to finish on the Bloodline news. It continues to get better. They continue to heat back up. What do you think about Sammy? What do you think about the story? Is it doing it for you? I have maybe two major gripes here, but let me know your thoughts.
So we're at the point in the story now where I'm not gonna complain because for one reason and one reason only. What month are we in?
Is it November?
What happens in November? We get Survivor. Yeah, we get Survivor Series, and lately at Survivor Series, we've been getting War Games. We getting ready to go to war. So anytime there's a War Games match, I don't care who is involved. I don't care how the story plays out. It is a War Games match. You know it's going to be good. They have not failed on a single War Games match that they've had since they've resurrected it.
Mm-hmm.
You could take 5 random people and call them the Bloodline number 3 if you want to. I don't care. It's a War Games. I'm okay with where it's at right now because I know where it's going to end.
Yeah.
And that's in War Games.
Yeah.
After that, then I'll worry about the story. But for now, I'm just sitting in my chair waiting for War Games.
I understand that. I think my only major gripe here was I don't think they introduced War Games the best. I think
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah.
you could have worded it in a way and not said it so that it could be said later.
Mhm.
You could like imply and then not address that that's the thing until it's said by, you know, like a William Regal or somebody. Like you, I feel like
Nah,
you
you know what?
wasted the War Games bit. Like if you were, you know what I mean? Like you're supposed to really like it's supposed to be a moment when you say War Games. And y'all
You know
kind
what?
of fumbled the ball there.
Can I fantasy book it then, real quick?
Mm.
All right, so Solo says he wants to go to war. They have their little beef or whatever. They fight in the ring. Nobody says anything about War Games.
Mm-hmm.
They just do whatever, and then later on in the night or next week, Solo's in the ring with his bloodline, still saying he wants to go to war. He wants to go to war. Roman's bloodline comes out at the top of the ramp, and then they talk. Paul Heyman comes out. Paul Heyman says War Games, and then that's how we get it right there. We get the original. We get the last of the original 4, well, original 5, when we add in the Wise Man.
I like that. I like the Wise Man saying War Games. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. I could see that.
Because we don't need
Yeah.
I don't think Nick Aldis, much respect to Nick Aldis over on SmackDown, but I don't think Nick Aldis is pulling off the War Games anywhere
No?
near as good. And
You might
anywhere
be
near as good as Paul Heyman or William Regal have.
You might be right.
I don't even think he
know
could do
how
it
his
as
growl is.
I don't even think he could do it as good as Adam Pearce did. And Adam Pearce would probably be the least of the 3.
I mean, they still got Regal. He's out there. I'd have got Regal. But this is good. This is good. Or have The Rock do it or something. Come
War
back for 10 seconds
Games.
just to say War Game. But he'd probably screw it up too. Like he'd probably do like the worst job, and we'd like have to be okay with it because it's The Rock. Like,
Just sit there, raise his eyebrow.
War
Games.
Yeah, like say it real cool or some shit. Like he probably screwed up. but as far as the story, I think maybe they could have ended the Sammy promo in a different way, but I do like the promo for the most part. It still felt very original Bloodline and still very Sami Zayn moment when he like started to call out Roman for his smile and shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny. So I like everything about it. I really can't complain right now. I wonder where it gets from here. My biggest thing is Solo's getting better. Solo's continuing to get better. Like I'm starting to like his bloodline just because of the way that it runs, the comedy of it, and the fact that it's I'll have this. This is a special. Okay, I'm gonna get my we have what, like 40 something? We about to be 40 something. Let me just go here for a minute and then we'll take it on. I like Solo's bloodline. I like it because it has this like it's almost Disney. It's almost like so ridiculous. And
Theatrical.
it's so ridiculous, it's so theatrical, it's so hood, it's so like who brought these rowdy dudes to the barbecue. It's It's so like, but it's also like Yakuza because you got the Gorillas of Destiny. It's like it's still like it's giving very Fast and Furious Kingpin, like in Tokyo Drift. It's like you find him in a back room, like it's so ridiculous. It reminds me of Scar and the Hyenas every time, and
Yeah,
it's even better because Fatu really puts it together. Because how do you get "I love you" Solo to be your catchphrase and be so over
I
to the
love
point
you,
where
Solo.
it's so ridiculous, but people love it.
They all
And
have ridiculous catchphrases.
and that's my point. Like Tama is so ridiculous. And at first people were like, I don't understand what he's doing, and that'll never get over, and blah 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 blah. And then he's in London, and when he does the yeah, 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 the entire crowd does the yeah, yeah, yeah with him. It's now over. It's a thing. And then Solo being so comedic every time he replies, like he's so ridiculous. Like
I
his
got
his
tickets.
his backstage moments are like one thing when he's getting off his tough guy promos, like that's cool or whatever. But the
Hmm.
Solo part that I love is the comedy of the actual live promos. He's so ridiculous. It's so funny.
Yeah,
He's mocking people. He's like he feels like he's a step ahead of everybody and like everyone else just doesn't get it and they're so stupid and he's surrounded by morons and he's rolling with these like gang of ridiculous dudes that like don't really speak words. Like it's just crazy. It's so crazy, but it feels I don't know, almost funnier than the original. They're just so slapstick. I don't know. I don't know. It's earning its way into my heart, and I'll say
yeah.
that. I'll leave it on that. It's earning its way into my heart. Um, and you guys, if we've earned our way into your hearts, can go hit the subscribe and the like button.
You all have earned your way into our hearts. If you've made it here, if you made it to this point of the show, listen to us be fools and talk about the
Oh man,
bloodline.
yeah. From out of nowhere, the cheap plug. If
Hmm.
you made it this far, you can either like or subscribe. I feel like we've had a good time. And we talked about a lot of good stuff. Thank you guys for joining us and staying this long. There's a link tree wherever you happen to be listening to this that can take you to our TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, website, dangerousjobberswebsite.com, where we have
Hmm.
other wrestlers of the pod if you've been listening since the beginning. And you can read promos, you can read articles, you can do all types of stuff on there. And just follow us, stay up with us. Continue to watch through the week as we drop more content because we'll definitely be talking about other stuff.
Hmm.
And just thank you for showing up. It's been a time, but I think that's all the time we have,
I believe so.
or at least everything we had to talk about for this pod. I've been Stevie Jobber,
I've been Dangerous Duke.
and I would like you all to stay up, stay blessed, and Duke, as always,
Stay dangerous.
People have been asking me, why, Eddie, why?